yesterday. And here we go. Now these two are real gladiators. I mean, they have been playing from the very start of the Grand Chess Tour. We're celebrating our 10th anniversary of the Grand Chess Tour this year. I believe Wesley has been a tour participant in all the editions. I'm not 100% certain that is true about MVL, but he's certainly for the majority of them. E4, E5, Knight of 3. Wesley has the Berlin in his repertoire for quite a number of years. And instead of Bishop C4,
we see Bishop B5. That's a little bit exciting.
Exactly. And Peter, MVL is one of the few grandmasters these days who's willingly going into the Berlin ending properly.
And Wesley is extremely likely to go Knight f6 and to try Berlin, because he occasionally does other things in the Spanish, but his normal fare would be Knight f6 and ask the question. No,
big surprise.
This is a very, very welcome development to my eyes.
Morphy defense, Paul Morphy, A7, A6, that's one bears his name. Bishop A4, Knight F6.
Yeah.
An open.
Yeah. I was wondering if that's what's coming, because Wesley does like to play the more concrete, the more forcing variations of the Ruy Lopez. I don't think he's one to play slightly worse positions where you just want to play a long game.
And this has become a kind of a modern move order. Previously, everybody just played B5 like almost instantly, and this was a tabia kind of position. And then you, as white, sometimes you had to be concerned that black would play Bishop C5 and Knight takes F2. Very famous attack indeed.
As we can see after Bishop E7, MVL's thinking a little bit. Maybe I'm guessing he was mostly prepared for Berlin.
Absolutely. Bishop E7. Peter, what's the latest and greatest? Why do they play Bishop E7?
I think that a move you can make, but these days I see Bishop E6 more and more.
Well, again, the battleground.
No, F6 today. Yeah.
In these openings, I mean, it just goes to show it's necessary to play at the top. You have to know a wide variety of openings and defenses. Again, from the opening, we thought Wesley was going to go into his Berlin. No, and they're in a completely different territory. Although I must say, it could be a Berlin ending, two bishops versus.
Yeah, what I wanted to say is, I mean, optically, they couldn't be further apart. Berlin and this, the queens are still on. It looks very sharp. There's a lot of very sharp tactical lines, but sort of spiritually, they're not that different, because what Black is trying to do here is sort of equalize by force. And these days,
When? Where?
Instead of bishop takes g4.
Yeah,
Rook takes.
A7?
The current position.
Oh, king's on f6. I thought it was on f7. a7, rook e4, a8, queen. I wanted to include a check and then take on b4.
Rook takes g4. You
Takes
lost me.
e4, a8, queen.
Yeah.
I thought the king was on f7, so I had one more check.
Even that
But
wouldn't,
still,
wouldn't have,
yeah.
even that wouldn't have saved the game.
Rook
You would
still
have had
hangs.
a
Yeah.
bit of false hope.
Both pieces are hanging. It's not just the bishop.
Right.
Yeah.
Oof.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate placement of these pieces.
Something.
We might say rook before queen c8 and 50 more moves.
Bishop
Obviously,
takes
bishop
g4.
So
Now the key moment. King f7 played instantly.
MVL saw this when he played king f6.
Yeah. We don't have time to play bishop f3. Want to trade rooks? No, I don't want to trade rooks.
No,
I want
yeah.
to play check and to take your rook. So no bishop f3.
What's the best try here for black?
Yeah, and Wesley is just sitting there shaking his head because he is now very much aware of how bad this is.
Right.
Yeah, this is
This looks like Wesley
kind of hopeless now.
hopeless, and Wesley looking.
Yeah, he knows. You know the
Forlorn.
look. When they look away from the
Yeah,
board to the side, they know it's over.
yeah. Hikaru has that look
Yeah.
of disgust as he looks to the side.
Yeah. You read the score sheet, trying to figure out
Yeah.
which move was the final mistake.
No, that's me. Well, like, what did I do wrong?
Rook g5 and a7.
Bishop
Otherwise,
h5 check, king
f6.
f8,
Sorry, where were we going?
So
rook g5,
Rook g5.
Rook g5,
Pawn
a7,
push.
a7,
bishop h5 check,
check.
king f8, I guess, because you don't want to allow rook g8.
No. King f8.
King
But-
f8, rook f5, king e7, and it's a good.
He's left the bishop hanging.
Yeah, he's left the bishop on. Yeah, and now the king will proceed to. Yeah, Yasser was making an argument that even this is not very easy, but I think it
I
is.
think it is.
Now
I
with
think
the
it is,
king
yeah.
there, yeah.
Yeah.
King gets to somewhere around the knight, he'll give a check, push the king away, and then
Right.
it's not very difficult.
No. By the way, with this win, and should Dayak, when we left, Dayak is completely winning, we'll be at our 40% scores of
Yeah.
two victories in
Yeah,
day one.
White completely dominant so far. Lev actually had the chance to make a draw in that other one.
What?
Because this will probably continue for a while, so let's
Yes.
switch to the Dayak game for a second.
No way, what?